You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today's episode will be brought to you after this question from our characters.
We go back to the fixing of the ship. Kay is in the control room and Tychus is somewhere on top of the ship trying to bolt one of the silver cracked patina panels back onto the top to give it some structural integrity. There's a crackle of the comms. Tychus, I know we're making a starship, a spaceship. You ever feel about leaving Keenabel? Seeing the universe, seeing the galaxy?
I have given it thought. I mean, Keenabale is all well and good, and it suits my parents right well. It suited me so far, and I view Keenabale kind of my as apprenticeship. This is where I'm learning my trade. It's where my first workshop is. The skills that my parents have taught me, I'm going to develop and refine them, and then maybe in a year or two, I'm interested in moving on. I think I with this being where it is, so far out of the way, there's a limited market for customers, and I want to get my name known. I want to be I want Bar's Bespoke Blasters to be the next Blast Tech. Yeah. I want to make something. I want to be known. And obviously with Kaween being out and about all the time, he's out in the galaxy all over, and it'd be nice to spend a bit more time with him and see the sights with him as well.
Yeah.
Where I really want to go, I think for me, is I've got my sights on Eriadu. I mean, it's Corellia for people like me. Maybe not people like us, because, you're a nice person. But, for scummers like me, there is a market for what I can make out there. And the designs I'm going to be asked to come up with, the money I'm going to get for that, it's going to push me like I've never been pushed.
You think I'm a nice person? Now that's a conversation we're going to have over drinks.
Hello and welcome to the third season of Shadows of the Jedi, a Star Wars actual play Force and Destiny campaign. Hopefully you've been listening along. If you haven't, welcome to this episode, and we strongly advise that you pop back and listen to seasons 1 and 2 first. Though if you want to dive in. I'm not your mum. I can't run a tabletop role-playing game without players, and luckily I have some absolutely amazing friends who are very good at having fun. So hopefully you'll have fun with this show, but obviously I'm going to have to get them to introduce themselves, and I'm going to start with Mim.
Hi, I'm Mim. I play Roy, who is a modified B1 battle droid. I am a bodyguard with a career with a hired gun.
Hi, I'm Ross. I'm playing Dr. Smets Karam Denalawa, a Syrian consular healer whose emotional strength is his compassion, but whose weakness is his obstinacy.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I play Kay. He is a human starfighter ace, a Tyrrell striker. His emotional strength is his compassion, but his emotional weakness is his hatred.
Hello, I am Adam, and I'm back in the player seat. Whoop whoop. I play Tychus Bar, a Basilisk Guardian Armourer. My emotional strength is my bravery, and my emotional weakness is my recklessness.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome back.
Eagle-eared listeners, is that a thing? Bat-eared, Shadowfan-eared listeners will be aware that we haven't actually talked too much about obligation and morality yet. We'll do that as a separate bit, but we haven't forgotten those particular rules, and those who aren't familiar with the rule set, obligation and morality is pretty much how we do the whole light side, dark side, getting into trouble element.
Oh, no. We get into trouble by lots of other methods.
Yeah, but there's rules as well. I mean, it's a role-playing game. It's got rules for the fun, so the fun can stay in special fun boxes. That's how tabletop role-playing games work. For a very, very long time, one of the great galactic mysteries was whatever happened to the Ninth Eternal Fleet. This fleet of unstoppable, automated and apparently force-aware droid ships vanished in the prelude to the First Great Galactic War. Had they been present, the shape of the galaxy would be very different. Galactic scholarship points to the fleet's route through the wild space hub that was Keenabel, and the incredible amount of debris orbiting around the world's primary star. Many scholars say that this is typical for Keenabel. So, where we left off from the end of the last campaign is you took your ship, the Fire Opal, out of atmosphere for the first time because you actually hadn't tested it. And as you pop into suborbital, what you see in front of you initially is an Imperial fleet. They are giant triangle-shaped wedges in the near space outside the strange orange and blue atmosphere that is Kinabal and its strange dying sun. As you pop out into what you are familiar as real space. Firstly, those of you who've not been born or lived in Kinabal your entire life, you notice how odd Kinabal looks once you leave it, because it is this kind of desert orb. It's this weird blue and orange block of colour. You've got more pressing things, however, than the weirdness of your environment. For a start, there's an Imperial fleet. Several light cruisers, definitely a Star Destroyer, other ships as well. And in addition, a whole host of ships are leaving the planet or moving across the world as you hit into space. But that's not even the most pressing thing. The most pressing thing are the red lights that are currently flashing and the various atmosphere warnings that you're achieving. However, before we get to all of the pressing issues that you have to deal with, before we do anything else, let's roll our destiny pool.
I have 2 dark side points.
I have 1 dark side point.
I have 1 light side point.
I have 2 light side points.
Yay!
We have balance.
Well, no, because I get to roll as well.
Yeah. We nearly have balance.
You have 4 light side points.
Ooh.
My word.
I think we'll need them, to be honest.
So let's not deal with how weird the planet is. Let's not deal with the massive fleet. Let's first deal with the issue of the fact that your spaceship has never yet hit atmosphere. Those of you who are expecting this, it'd be cool. Those of you who are not expecting this, it'd be vigilance. But the environmental alarms are going off on the ship.
I think I would say that Kay is cool because he's a nihilist.
Yeah.
But I think I would probably argue that Bar, having a significantly better ego than Kay, he could probably go vigilance because he probably expects it to be fine.
I'm fine with that.
And also, Bar's been distracted because he's just sent the get out of Kinabel message to his parents, and he's probably a little bit distracted with all of that. What's the difficulty, Ed?
So the difficulty is 1, so it's 1 pebble, plus a setback die for the ride, because there is a slight surprise by the fact that you were expecting it to be like not as busy, and it's now busy, and you are being distracted by the fact that there's clearly a significant space battle about to kick off, and in the process of kicking off, and your ship might not even be safe.
I'm going to roll for vigilance because I think I'm not prepared for this.
I'm not sure whether to say that the doc is or isn't prepared for the quality of engineering of this. I don't know, he's got full confidence behind Bar's talents of engineering, but stats-wise it doesn't matter because I've got a yellow and 2 green for both.
I'll be utterly honest as well. It doesn't really matter to Roy that much that we can't breathe.
That's fair.
Just as a side point, environmental systems also includes things like radiation and not being blown out the airlock. So as a droid, be a little concerned.
I'm a little concerned because if there's a risk to Bar, that is my concern.
It triggers off your obligation as well.
1 success, 1 advantage from me, Ed.
Okay.
1 success, 2 threat from me.
3 success, 1 advantage from the doc.
Oh, wow.
1 failure, 1 threat from Roy.
There's red lights. I can see lots of red lights. No, they're working. They're not. No, yes, they are. No, they're not.
Bar, can you breathe in space still?
So, I'm going to basically do this a bit like initiative. Doc, all the lights are red and the oxygen levels are screaming at you.
Yeah, I'm shouting to Bar because I'm sure he's unaware of it because red lights flashing as such is...
It's so ambiguous.
Oh, well, Bar's colourblind. He's like, why are all these purple lights flashing? What does that even mean? I don't remember there being a purple alert.
It's the rave alarm!
Whoop, whoop.
And that's why I'm shouting at
It's
him.
my birthday. It's my birthday.
Because I've got a rank in xenology, and I remember he's colourblind because he said so earlier.
Doc, kick a fat beat.
So you're
So many red alerts, so much dance.
so you're yelling at the ship's engineer.
It's not just yelling. I'm using the comm system. I'm civilised.
So and are you passing that advantage across the bar? Then?
I'm passing as many advantages as I can over the bar, but I've only got one. So yes.
Just the doc there going, do the thing with the thing, or there's no thing for us to breathe.
Good talk, everybody.
Tychus, the environmental systems have gone off. What would you like to? And also, the doc is panicking because the environmental. Apparently, there's a red alert. Whatever red is.
Purple alert! Purple alert!
Are you sure, sir? It does mean changing the bulb.
Wait, a blue alert. I mean, red. Yes, is not really. I mean, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Oh, that's puce.
Yeah. I think Tychus is going to. He was already on his way to engineering anyway, because that's where he goes when Kay was test flying the ship. That's where all his stuff is. He double times it down to engineering, skids to a halt basically in front of the various consoles and widgety bits in engineering. And as he does so, he grabs 455 out of his big hip pocket, boops him on the snoot, and then almost frisbees him. So as 455 is flying through the air, he unfolds like a transformer, lands on his little skittering pin legs, and Tiger's like,
Hold your breath, everyone! I'll get the air scrubbers working properly! Everything is going to be absolutely fine! It's not 455, we're dead.
And then click.
Sorry, comes off!
yeah. Yeah.
So on to Kay. So one success, you get to act, but for your threat, I'm going to say that you've also realised that the chair is not secured down properly. It's literally as you've hit, it's just gone straight back.
My God, I'm not buckled. I'm buckled into a chair that's not buckled in itself. The song never taught me about this.
I mean, I love the fact that we've clearly had escape velocity. We've hit Atmo. We've gone above the atmosphere at X number 1,000 miles per hour, and now the seats decide to fall over sideways.
It's the turbulence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the turbulence of hitting atmosphere, just shoving the bolts loose.
Yeah. There's not much I can do about the chair because I need to keep my hands on the wheel, but I will reach over and flick a switch, and the console in front of me, all the flashing warning lights stop.
Right, so you turned the alarm off.
I turned all of the alarms off. We have a specific switch that stops them from flashing because they're very distracting. I don't need to know this. We've got an engineer.
It just says, I know! Boom.
Roy, you get an action, obviously. However, you haven't noticed there's anything wrong. It's 3 failures.
It's just at the end of that, the comms click back on, and Kay goes, Roy, we're going to do some fancy flying. Could you sing the song, please?
Oh, life support is big and important. You could live without it, but I wouldn't suggest it. Because you won't live very long. Oxygen. Oxygen. Way more important for you than for me.
Very reassuring, Roy. Thank you for that. How's the doc?
Well, he's not glowing, so it's okay.
That's an interesting diagnostic system you've got there.
It's the next one up from Purple Alert, the doc's head scale.
No, I kind of think he's one of those, you know, where you can move your hand over him and he kind of dims or gets brighter.
I don't think it works like that.
Either that or you just walk into a room and go, clap on.
Clap off.
That's not how the force works. No, Roy is just, he with a failure and a threat. He doesn't really know what's going on. Lack of oxygen is like, well, we can hold our breath for a bit. How long? 2 hours. Okay.
Fairly sure that's what it says.
Seems legit.
I'm going to pocket that threat for later.
Oh, God, no.
And are we okay? Is everyone happy to go? Obviously, this isn't like an initiative order for combat because you get to pick the slots. But is everyone okay with that, like, order of play?
Yeah.
So we're going to stick with that as the order of play, and then what I'll do is I'll take actions of the various factions that are currently at play in space. And just for the listener and also for the players, the factions that will play are the players, the Empire, and Scum and Villainy. So they're like, we're going to go through these in set orders just to kind of, otherwise it's going to be complete chaos. Because to describe what's going on right now is complete chaos. So what we have in front of us is, firstly, the space around Keenabal is severely damaged, famously so. You have bits of space debris everywhere, bits of shattered moon kind of orbiting across, broken satellites, broken bits of space station, asteroids are within near orbit and across orbit. Because there are so many large bodies of moons and moon-like objects that affect the planet of Keenabal, there are plenty of places for people to hide their spaceships behind and also achieve different types of orbits. So the orbital mechanics of this world are a mess, but beloved by smugglers and an absolute nightmare to police. That's the world in general. That would be on an easy Sunday with nothing else going on. It would still be a problem. Unfortunately, this is a special day in the history of Keenabal because the Empire has arrived, and they are at least, you think, 5 of the look of the Scanner's capital ships, possibly more, and an absolute pile of fighters and other sublight style ships on patrol right now, and other ships are currently going into atmosphere. At the same time, it's all kicking off because there are a series of ships from various factions who have either decided to arrive or leave roughly at the same time. They are Sea Rock cruisers, they are CR-90 corvettes, there's a couple of Vigos, which are the big blocky Black Sun ships for fans of starships. There's a couple of other lovely surprises and a load of different types of fighters, including what are definitely not X-Wings, but if you're not paying attention, look like X-Wings, which are the Z95s, which are the ones, the non-X-Wing X-Wings, essentially, and Skix fighters and some Viragos as well, which are kind of like, really, really fancy ties.
It sounds very much like what you're describing to me, Ed, is a war in the stars, and that's just... My mind is blown.
But there is indeed a war in the stars. It's almost like it's clear in the name.
Mm-hmm. So we should strike first, and then the Empire should... No, never mind.
Are they leaving sort of the vicinity of Red, yes, or just anywhere civilized on the planet, or are they leaving the sort of site of the ziggurat?
So you're now in the kind of the outer space surrounding the world, if you see what I mean. There's spaceships coming and going. So scum ships are leaving, Imperial ships are arriving, but you'd have to look at the scanner to see who's doing what exactly to get a rough idea. But basically, they don't like each other and they're having a conversation, and they're having a conversation with their blasters.
Okay, so the idea of joining the convoy on the leaving thing, not a good idea because the Imperials are firing at that then.
You would have to make an assessment, so we'll go back to turns.
I would like to look at the scanners and see what's going on outside.
Cool. Can I have what is an appropriate skill for the doc? Feel free to throw one at me.
Should we go with astrogation? That sounds sensible.
Okay, I'm happy with that, yeah.
What difficulty would you like?
It's going to be 2. That's going to be 2 setback.
2 setback as well as 2 difficulty. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's come up as 1 advantage.
Okay. So you can't quite figure out the state of play. However, I'm going to say for your advantage, I'm going to give you a couple of key ships that catch your eye that you need to pay attention to. If you had more advantages, I would have given you more ships. But there's a ship called the Revelator, which you are familiar with because it's an interdictor. It's a ship that does traffic control for other starships. It's an Imperial ship. Also, there is a Trident class ship here, which is it's a general spaceship, but this one is clearly a scum ship. That's a ship that eats ships. It's basically a giant mechanical space octopus. But the thing it does is it's there to physically pick up scrap. That's not normally an advantage, but in Keenabal you can see why someone would own one.
Yeah, because there's a lot of scrap in orbit.
Your trained eye and your experience basically goes, oh, that's important, and that's terrifying.
Someone's come prepared for a battle because they want to harvest it.
Someone's here to make full advantage of the chaos and death. And it's Adam.
Can I just ask, so we're not in initiative?
Not yet.
So it's just the order of who rolled the most successes. That's the order we're acting in until things change.
I think that's the fair way to do it until things change, yeah, until basically you open fire.
Right, well, Tychus is in engineering and is going to frantically try to get the environmental support systems back up and running and do what patchwork he can do from here, and I suppose work out if it is something he can fix from here or if it's something that he can start fixing from here and then have to run around frantically replacing air scrubbers while 455 holds the fort.
Make your appropriate roll for your mechanical engineering.
I'm going to roll mechanics. What's my difficulty?
It's 2. You have a single setback because you're still experiencing the bump, which is why we're in these pseudo rounds at the moment.
I ignore that setback because of my ranks at Gearhead, and I got boost die passed to me from the dock, and I rolled an advantage myself, so I'm going to use that for a second boost die, if that's okay?
Yeah.
So that's 3 yellow, 2 boost versus 2 purple. 3 success and a threat.
Okay, so the threat is you can do this quickly, but it will cause additional stress.
We'll take the system strain, and I'll try and fix that later on down the line when we have to, I think.
Gaffer it for now, mend it later.
Yeah.
Okay, Mikey.
Okay, so knowing as what I know about piloting, me doing things with the engines like gunning it and getting us up to speed will not affect anything that Bar is doing regarding environmental services, right?
No.
It won't tax it. Well, that is exactly what we will do. We're a bit far out from them, so we don't quite need to be at invasive maneuvers, but it's so much easier to evade people if you're going at full speed. So I'm going to punch it.
Okay, so you punch it, so you're heading towards top speed.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't increase engagement, so we're probably going to have another round of these reactions before we get into actual initiative.
Looking out of the window, I mean, I know the doc looked on a computer, but looking out of the window, of the bigger ships out there, which ones are likely to have the least amount of TIE fighters? Knowing what I know about Imperial TIE fighters, being as I was a pilot.
Can I have a warfare check, please?
Yeah, of course.
Difficulty is 2.
2 advantage.
2 advantage?
No success. Blanked out.
No success, so you can't see the immediate threats. However, those ties are unusual.
Can I spend my advantage on something specific?
You can if you want.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't see where they're up to, I'm not going to look at the ties yet because they're quite far out.
But you can have that for free.
I got 2 threats before because the chair was unbalanced. So I lean forward to look out the window and there's a click and the chair goes back into place.
Cool. Okay, that gets rid of the setback dice I was reserving for having you fall out the chair when you do something cool.
I approve of our sense of priorities.
It's very difficult to pilot the ship if I'm on the ceiling. Just,
And yes, and for free, you've also noticed that at least some of the TIE fighters are a bit weird, but you can't quite put your finger on why they're weird.
My logic, by the way, in this, just so you get an idea about what's going through, Kay is pretty sure he can outrun everything here apart from a TIE fighter. So his idea was to go at the choke point that has the least smaller ships because he can probably outrun everything else.
Oi!
I don't really know what I should be doing right now. Instinct is to go and try and help Bar, but you've got B58?
455.
455, there we go.
I mean, can I suggest something?
Get on the guns.
Yeah, I was going to say, get to the guns.
Do we have guns in this? Are they functional with all the systems that are down?
Oh, yeah.
We've just used them to smash Bracca's palace, so yes.
Yeah. And let's be completely honest here. Of all the systems that are going to be working on this ship, what's Bar's priority over life support? It's the guns.
They are great guns. I believe they've got a really good arc as well, though there's a couple of blind spots because of where everything else is mounted. But
blind spots are they can't shoot underneath because they're on the top of the ship. So if you remember, what we had to do before was flip the ship upside down so we could shoot things on the ground.
Does anything look like it's threatening us particularly right now?
make a warfare check, please. Difficulty is 2.
I'm imagining that the ship systems are designed specifically to interface Roy in particular with them, because why wouldn't they be?
Are you arguing for a boost? If Roy plugs into the gun system, I'll happy to give a boost, but that does mean that you're plugged into the gun system.
I'll go for that. There we go. That boosted absolutely nothing. 2 disadvantage. Sorry, 2 threat. No success, no failures, just threat. I think the threat is that Roy is now plugged into the gun systems.
You are overwhelmed with target choices. This is a target-rich environment, and the threat is, at the moment, Roy is still figuring out the difference between fighter ships, capital ships, and asteroids and little space stations. If you see what I mean, you're having to sort through the list, if you see what I mean.
It's Big Sky Blue. Who's it? Not you. Give me a target bar. I don't know what to do here.
So you're still heading into the atmosphere. You've not hit the theatre of engagement, so we're still pre-engagement. Everyone but Tigers will see this. An eddy in space opens up, like a little kind of twist, and you notice this kind of like curl of light, and you're like, what is that? Is that a ship that's just jumped into hyperspace? And it's not. What's happened is a TIE fighter is chasing some Skix interceptors, and then suddenly there's a hyperspace twist, and they're all gone.
That's worrisome. TIE fighters don't have hyperspace power, but...
No, they don't.
It's more worrisome for the TIE fighter pilot who's suddenly like, uh-oh.
No, I'm assuming that was deliberate and gone. Sorry, I assume you meant gone as in jumped rather than jumped and gone as in destroyed.
No, gone.
Gone. Scattered. But it's more a cosmic ripple causes the ships to go straight through. You've never seen this before. None of you have seen that before, which is horrifying. You may make palanting space checks to recognise what the effect is if you wish.
I mean, I can.
Difficulty would be 2 purple.
I mean, I'm going to try, but I'm sure it will work against me. I've got 1 threat.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a go. My God. So that ended up being 1 failure, 4 advantage, and 2 light side points. So I'm turning that into 1 success and 4 advantage.
Nice.
Okay, so the threat for the dock, I'm not going to give you stress, but I'm going to give you a character narrative stress in the sense that you've basically looked at that and gone, you understand completely what that is, and it horrifies you. That's the wake of a hyperspace ship, but you're not sure how that's happened. So it must be something must be doing that.
Right. Okay.
K.
Yeah.
The actual hyperspace around this world is broken. In the wrong circumstances,
Yeah.
if you go too fast in the wrong place, if you don't see it coming, it will tear you to pieces. This is essentially the effect of something that would normally, in more sane places and more sane worlds, there's natural phenomena that you can use to increase like your hyperspace journeys, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
This is the sort of thing that you see in the Kessel Run and the likes, where you see strange anomalies that affect strange navigational hazards. They're not normally this close to atmosphere.
Okay.
I would say for, how many advantages did you get?
4.
I would say for 3 of those advantages, you can spend those, and for this instance, it's not a concern. You recognise the popping noise before the rats of unusual size attack. You've seen what happens, so you can...
I'm aware of them, so I can work around them. Okay, now that is absolutely fantastic. Excellent, I'm happy with that. And the last remaining one, I'll just have a boost on the next person.
Cool. The enormous squid-like spaceship immediately seems to attach itself to one of the Imperial ships, one of the Imperial light destroyers. And you see this light cruiser just literally kind of like get grabbed by this smaller cruiser, and it's going full battery against its shields, and you just see this kind of pyramid, almost like a pyramid with like mechanical tentacles, just dendrites kind of open up and start to try and disassemble this light cruiser as it comes past it, almost lazily as it's kind of drifting away. Meanwhile, the cruisers and the corvettes are spawning ships. The Vigo, specifically, you see these kind of beautiful solar-sailed fighters just start bobbing out and start forming waves. On the Imperial side, you see the light cruisers that still haven't been affected, start doing the same. The big Star Destroyer starts dropping these pyramids in our atmosphere. Just like little pyramid-shaped transports in our atmosphere. At the same time, more and more fighters are being released as a response to the fighters from the other side, if you see what I mean. And it's all kicking off. You are about to join the engagement because of the speed that you're going to. And if you want to leave this system, you're going to have to get through this mess. But the fight has started, and it's essentially the fighters are starting to do their squaring off maneuvers, and the various cruisers are already engaging. So we'll do this last set of actions, and then we'll go into initiative. So, Ross.
The Doc is pulling out TBC from a pocket. He's going to reboot it because it's been switched off since we went through the gate back in the temple. There will be a nice booting noise, and I want him active because I'm concerned about A, the air we can breathe, B, any symptoms of anything else out there, anything stressful. I want more eyes to be able to see things, and I want to be able to communicate better with things.
Okay, are you trying to open comms?
Yes, because I want to get a distress signal out because there's clearly a big Imperial thing going on, and I want to let people know about it.
You want to monitor comms. Okay, TBC opens and goes, "Hi there.
Can you open comms, please? Because we are going to need a channel to get information off world."
What does TBC give you a bonus to? It's been a while since we've played. Let's remind everyone.
It's medicine, xenology, and underworld.
Yeah, it's not a comms unit, but it's helpful to have a loyal bot nearby.
Okay, so make a computers check.
Difficulty?
That would be 2 purple. Is there anything that you're doing that might give you a boost or disadvantage?
Not that I can think of. At the minute, I'm just trying to open comms. I'm trying to monitor what traffic is out there, but I want to be collating them very quickly, trying to compile the information I need to send out to where I need to send it out to.
Okay.
That's 3 success and 2 advantage.
Okay, you are connected. Where are you sending messages to?
I'm trying to send one message down to Red Yes, where I've been stashing information for a while because I need some of the reports. I'm also trying to send it, ideally, contacts I have outside the Keenabel system.
So you're sending a message across, you're using your successes and advantages to send a message across. Are you using your advantage for anything else as you send towards your off-world contacts?
I'm not going to be subtle about it. I'm sending messages out, and if anybody else is around us is inside the ship is noticing, hang on, where's he sending messages to? You'll notice that one message is being sent to the Revelator because as you say, I recognise that name.
Yeah. Okay. This is a podcast, and you've not seen the look on everyone else's face, but we'll get to that in a moment.
So I would have not have expected for you to be the Imperial spy. I thought it was me.
Who said I was an Imperial spy?
Adam.
What did I find out from my last roll, Ed? Because I got 3 successes and a threat, but you never actually said...
What were you trying to find out?
Fix the environmental systems and or decide if I needed to move elsewhere around the ship.
They're fixed. You can move elsewhere. Because you've taken the strain, you've now automated those systems. Sorry, that was me not being clear. It's been a while.
It's all right.
You can activate environmental systems, and the ship is now... It's essentially a case of, I should have done that when we were on the ground. Oh, ka-chunky.
It is repressurized. We are no longer hemorrhaging air. We're not going to immediately asphyxiate. Cool. In which case, at this point, Tychus reaches out, grabs one of the carabiners on an extendy chain that run throughout the length of the ship, especially in the engineering thing, clips that onto his belt, so he's now as clicked in as Tychus gets when he's in the engineering bay, and carries on, basically on the systems. He's going to be boosting the shields. Basically, he's pumping power into the surviving this fracas systems. So,
would you like to make an engineering check to essentially generate boost die for the rest of the party?
Yes, I think so. Especially for Kay and Roy, effectively, as pilot and guns. That's what I would like, please. What's the difficulty?
It's 2.
Failure, but 2 advantage.
Okay.
So, yeah, possibly that at the moment there is no spare energy because it's dealing with the surge, getting the life support back on. But those advantage could be...
You can still pass those advantages on to other party members, but you're also still warming up systems.
Yeah.
Like you've not done battle ready before.
Yep, I will add them as bouncing boosts, so the next person to go gets 2 boost die.
But you essentially... It's still going to be as difficult next round when you turn things on because things are still
warming up.
Still having to warm up and remember what the login was and why are these 5 separate logins for this?
Yeah, I imagine because we'd been operating in atmosphere pretty fine and had been doing some death-defying stuff, but it's the extra strain on the system since breaking Atmo that we weren't used to.
It's almost a different ship in space.
Yeah.
Mikey,
So the one button I clicked that is the only one that's flashing from because there's issues kind of stops flashing, and we start getting oxygen in. I lean over, click a little switch, and the intercom goes on and says, "Doctor, could you come up and help me with the deflector shield, please?" And then I'm going to do a maneuver, which is angle deflector shield. We're still already going at full speed, and I'm just going to go double front.
Do you need to roll for that?
No.
Cool. So you're just activating and moving.
It's just an action. It just means that we now have 2 defense on the front and no defense on the back, but we are going straight at people, so that should be fine for now.
Roy, you're plugged into the targeting system. There are many, many targets.
Because things are kicking off a bit now and more ships have entered the fray. And this, as you kept pointing out, this is clearly, to anyone who observes this, a big fight that we're either going to have to engage with or get out of. I'd like to ask, do you think that the Empire invading the planet is something that his parents would have put further behavioural fail-safes into? Would they have had any, if this happens, you get him off-world, you get him off-world fast? If these things happen, you initiate these practices.
I would say that Tychus's parents will have specific protocols for dealing with certain sorts of authority. So not just Imperials, but essentially, for want of a better way of putting it, the police. Should the authorities arrive, the protocols are try to avoid being taken at any cost. Try to avoid drawing attention to yourself. Try not to be the problem. However, if you do become the problem, get out. It is left as a decision to Roy whether you want to do that by punching first, but there's definitely a threat protocol, if you see what I mean. And it is all about causing disruption to get to escape. Your goal is always escape rather than victory, if you see what I mean. So feel free to set fire to public buildings if it slows them down, if you see what I mean. It's like these are options that you can do in order to stop yourselves from getting arrested.
Can't get arrested if you've killed all the police.
I've got a relevant question here. Does Roy have any ability to detect which, on the off chance that Roy's parents are trying to evacuate on one of the ships that's out there, does Roy have any way of detecting which one it is and to avoid it? That sort of thing.
I imagine there's a bit of a link with Roy's heart. There must be some way. Because no parent would go, here is your toy. Go and explore the world with your toy and I will have no form of ever checking on where you are.
But we have a big gun attached to a ship, and if we start opening fire on things, I want to make sure we don't hit a target that you really, really care about.
So I imagine there's a way to subtly ping a message across, or if not a message, to acknowledge, like sonar, how far they are away, or if they're still in the vicinity.
Okay, make me a computers check.
Cool. I would like that. I would like to see if there's a way of pinging where his family are, because this is clearly a big problem, and big problems need conference with
Mum and Dad.
Yeah. I can't believe I have nothing in computers.
I absolutely can. You kill things.
You are a computer.
I am a computer. I don't do computers. Congratulations, 2 failures. What I've just done is tell everybody where we are.
With 2 failures, what's happened is you failed to find the correct protocol, and you're not sure where they are, if you see what I mean, because there's multiple protocols for different situations, and you kind of hesitate when you're like, I don't even know if they're on the ground.
They're all being triggered at once.
So it's like, I don't know. I have these 12 emergency contact numbers for when we're in different environments. I don't know which one to call. Who do I call first?
Add them all to the same WhatsApp.
So it's like you can't find the protocol to use. You can make another roll next round.
Sorry, that's where I think I'm going to stay. At the moment, you could, if anyone could see Roy, it's almost like he's busy processing a really big problem and it's taking all of his power. He's not even moving.
And okay, as you kind of skim at a high speed in your atmosphere, this is absolutely the right thing to do. And then you realise that your Imperial training says, chase the fastest thing. And suddenly there is 2 TIE advanced craft. You know what they are. You've seen them before. They're not ISB. They're inquisitorial. You've seen them before. You are completely aware. and there is a cadre of TIEs and 2 Inquisitor crafts right on your tail. And as we reach engagement and hit initiatives, I'm going to say let's go again for the next session. So thanks for listening, and tune in next time to find out exactly how that turns out.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Edge Studios. Our intro music is by the amazing Sly Fox Audio. Check out more of her work at soundcloud.com/SlyFoxAudio. Our outro music is Suburban Outlaw instrumental version by Forget the Whale, used with gratitude under a Creative Commons license. Many of the sound effects and soundscapes are created using Sirenscape, because epic games need epic sounds. If you're enjoying the show and want to support us, there's 3 ways you can do that. The first is by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/ForceMajeurePod, where for as little as $1 a month you get access to outtakes, adverts, various other stuff, and my fortnightly ramblings. You can drop us a coffee at ko-fi.com/ForceMajeurePod, or you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to interact with us, there's a few ways you can do that. We are on the social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter as @ForceMajeurePod, and we're over on Mastodon as @ForceMajeurePod at dice.camp. You can also join our Discord, link in the show notes. Thank you very much for listening and being with us as we tell these stories. We hope you are having fun, and we will see you next time.